Organic transit door. My door is gray on the other side. And if you see, it's not a lot of difference. My door is very solid, just like theirs. You can see I'm not holding it in place. It has a clip, okay, different clip than they have. It has a hinge. It's made out of the same basic material. And I made both doors for probably 50 bucks. So here's the Elf door. It's made out of Pearl. It's a German company. And you can see I'm trying to squeeze that. It's a very stiff material. And it's very similar to chloroplast, which is very soft and not very durable. This door doesn't want to bend, you can see. And it's got a very hard, thick, stiff shell. Okay? And then I use tri-ply, which is, it comes in various thicknesses, okay? And you can ones. So here's Pearl, okay, it's right here. And it's a tri-laminate board. And it talks about the thicknesses. There's 3.7 mil, 4.9, and I just put some of the conversions at that. 3.7 is 1/8. And it talks about the weight. And I did some weights of the actual sheets. I was just doing some calculations, and here, this was like $44 a sheet for the one that Organic Transit uses. They were using a 6.8 mil for the floorboards, and I think the dashboard and the doors. So I wasn't going to spend $1,000 to get a few sheets of this. So I found a competitor called Tri-Ply. They're in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and you can see all the thicknesses that they have. They have quite a selection. And I called them up and I drove over there, and they were willing to sell me a few sheets. Okay, so I got my Elf door. I laid it out on a piece of 10 millimeter thick tri-ply, different colors, this one's gray, that's all I had. And we're going to go ahead and just take a Sharpie, and we are just going to go ahead and trace it. And if you don't have an Elf door or a friend that has one, you can simply hold up a piece of cardboard in your current Elf and just trace it. Okay, so we cut out the first door. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make this hinge here, all right? And I could fabricate this up exactly out of aluminum and weld it. I have all the welding equipment and aluminum behind me. That's not something that most people can do. So I've come up with a different way to do this. I'm going to come up with a way to use piano hinge. They sell this at Home Depot or any hardware store. And this hinge is roughly 2 inches wide, and it's 5 foot, and it comes pre-drilled. And this was aluminum. So I ordered this on Amazon. I think it was like 10 bucks and delivered to my house the next day. You can see the top of the Elf door has this little piece of aluminum channel. So if you rest your hand on it or arm, it's not sharp. And it dresses it up kind of nice, and you don't see this kind of edge. So there's a few things you could do. You could just take a piece of duct tape, put a piece of duct tape over it. There's many types of composite channel. There's plastic ones. You go to Home Depot. You can go online and get the rubber channel that you use. You'll see it used on campers and motorhomes. And you just measure the size of this, and that will slide on. There's a nice little piece of rubber. I happen to have some aluminum stock. You could get this at Ace Hardware or any hardware store. And it's a U-channel. You can see the profile is a U. And I just happen to have some in the shop. And that will slide on this and make a nice edge, just like the original Elf did. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But again, okay, so I put a little epoxy on there, and I just kind of tapped this aluminum on. And as you can see, hey, it's looking pretty doggone close to the manufacturer, huh? Alrighty. Now we're going to install the hinge here to this area. Put the hinge up, and we transferred with a Sharpie where a hole should be. See these nice little black marks? We center punched them. Now we're going to drill them out. So this is what the hinge looks like installed. It's got the backing plate with some nuts on it, give it some strength. And when I went out to size it up, I put a level here, okay, and I followed the contour to try to keep that as an even gap, about 1/4 inch. And I was hitting here. You can see I marked it with a Sharpie. I didn't have that corner right. And each door might be slightly different. I'm going to go ahead and just nip a little of that off. Bend straight. Here we go. Good hammer. Fixes everything. Here's our bracket. And this one's a little bit more. And we'll mark it. That's the finished product. Little Z here. And this is going to go over the door and lock onto, there's a piece of the frame. And so the door can't move. It's locked in there. Okay, so I took the two pieces. You have the single piece here. And then I have my Z bracket, I'm going to call it here. And I've clamped them. Okay, so you can see this is what it looks like. Okay, there's my bracket. And there's the outer piece, right? And so the idea is you get to the door, you lift it up a hair, okay, it's going to flex, and it drops in place right there, okay? And when you're going down the road, it's locked, okay, it's locked. Now, what I'm going to do is once I bolt it, you can see there's just a lip, my angle's off maybe 1/4 inch. I'll bend that piece a little bit. It's aluminum, remember, you can just bend it. And so, you know, when I'm driving, I'm not going to hear the rattling. Okay, the top door is the Organic Transit Elf door that I made with all the components, and then the bottom door is the original Organic Transit door that I have, and you can see they're very similar. And the only thing I needed to make was I had to cut out the door, make a hinge mechanism, a backup plate, cut a piece of top U-channel, and then bend a piece of material for the latch, and you can see that all there. And the only tools I needed was a little saw, a DeWalt drill, a level, a marker, a hammer, and a tape measure. That's really it. So you can make this locally, and you can make a door for your elf, or you can use kind of the idea that I did and make something similar and just kind of add to what I did, make it better. I'm sure it can be improved upon.